Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. It's weird saying like I hope you're doing well when the world in general right now is not doing well. But this video today is going to be about current events that are going on at the moment, and I'll be honest, I've tried filming this video a million times and I just can't find the words to kind of even explain what's going on right now, and it's hard, but I will do my best as much as I can. And this video today will be specifically talking about racism and what I've learned over the last 2 weeks or so about current events and stuff that have happened at the moment. So I will be discussing all of that type of thing, and I know this is probably the first time where I've actually felt comfortable talking about it. I've never discussed my race, I've never spoken about the subject racism. I've spoken about many uncomfortable topics, but this has never been one of them. And I feel like now is the time where it's needed to be spoken about. So I'm gonna do my best I can and educate you as much as I can about the whole matter. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this can help you learn a little bit more. So obviously with recent events going on currently at the moment, we're in like the midst of COVID and everything like that at the moment, and also recent events with George Floyd have sparked and triggered a lot of mayhem and absolute craziness going on in the world right now. And the fact that obviously what happened with George Floyd is absolutely terrible. Obviously, if you don't know what happened to George Floyd or anything like that, he was killed in the hands of the law over in the US in Minneapolis, and a police officer kneeled on his neck for 8-9 minutes, and there's actually a video of it, and I've only watched 2 minutes of it. I can't bring myself to actually watch that video because it's horrible. If I'm honest, it's absolutely horrible. So what happened with that has obviously triggered a lot of uproar within the world, and a lot of people are wanting to use their voice. They're wanting to say like, no, now enough is enough, like this needs to stop. And obviously at the moment a lot of people are using the phrase Black Lives Matter, which is obviously an amazing phrase. I will tell you a little bit about the movement because I did a lot of research on this. The movement Black Lives Matter was actually created in 2013 to help raise awareness about police brutality and racism in general, especially police brutality towards the people of colour, the people of colour being treated very differently to white people, and just racism in general, where people still look at people of colour as lesser valued than themselves. So this is why I wanted to do this video, and I want to kind of give you guys an insight of kind of what I've learned like the last 2 weeks. And it's crazy to think even me, a person of colour, will ever be looked down on. And I've had so many uncomfortable conversations with my dad, all of that type of thing. And yeah, it's not nice. I've felt absolutely horrible the last 2 weeks thinking about this going on in my brain, and I wanted to shed some light on you. So my ethnicity is from my dad's side. So he is from Ghana, Accra, and he came to the UK, I think in like the 70s or something like that. And that is where my ethnicity comes from. So, and my mum is white and she's British. She's half Italian, I think, so I'm a quarter Italian. I'm a mix of a lot of things. I'm half Ghanaian, quarter English and quarter Italian. So a whole mix of fun stuff right there. So, but I'm going off topic. There's been so many people using their voice and saying, look, enough is enough. That's the whole point of the Black Lives Matter kind of movement, saying all that type of thing. A lot of people are getting very confused with Black Lives Matter and people only saying, oh, they're saying only Black Lives Matter. There's other people that have suffered and have gone through a lot of stuff in their life, not just your lives matter. Obviously, that's completely the wrong context. So when you're saying Black Lives Matter, we say Black Lives Matter also, because for hundreds of years, people of colour have been treated lesser than white people. And that's kind of a given fact. There's so many things that I've learned this week that I didn't even realise myself. There used to be, actually in Europe, there used to be, I think it was in a very long time ago, there actually used to be black zoos. So there was people of colour, black people, black children put in zoos. I think it's in Brussels, I want to say. And people would pay to come and look at black people. Look at black people. Because that's how much they thought, oh my God, it's shocking. Like, they're people of colour. That's so unheard of. This was obviously a very long time ago, but this is stuff that people didn't even realise. I didn't even realise. And that type of behaviour isn't obviously as, like, nowhere near like that now in this day and age, but it is very seeped down into our society where we are still looked at as lesser valued. I've actually felt very guilty the past 2 weeks because I've never spoken about it before, yet I still know it's going on. So, and for me, that's why I want to speak up now and use my voice and say, look, this is what needs to happen. I'm not going to be talking mostly about police brutality because I'm still learning myself, if I'm going to be honest. And I want to do more research on that. Obviously, we all know that is a massive issue in the world that goes on with police brutality. There's been so many cases that I've seen, so many petitions I've signed where a black person or a person of colour will get way worse treatment than someone that is white. I've seen cases where they've been the exact same and the black person has got 20 plus years and the person that is white has got like 6 months. And why is that? You know, like, we ask ourselves why do they get more, like, better treatment from the exact same crime just because the colour of their skin? Is that the reason? If so, like, it needs to be spoken about. It needs to be stopped. Do you know what I mean? Especially in law enforcement. And it's frustrating for me because I'm like, what can I actually do as an individual? Like, what can I do to help stop that? I've been sharing a lot on my Instagram and everything like that and saying, like, look, I'll answer any questions that people feel uncomfortable to ask. I don't mind doing that. And a lot of people are like, look, Phoebe, what can I actually do to change? The best thing we can do is to change our own selves and check ourselves of what our stereotypes are, what our biases are, and see if we are actually anti-racist or if you are actually anti-racist. That's what I'm asking you to do. Because a lot of the times we say, oh, I'm not a racist. Like, I've never, like, said the N-word, or I've never, like, looked down on someone, like, of a different color of me. But, like, truly look in yourself. If you're alone by yourself, so this is an example. This is a very well-known example that a lot of people have been using recently. So if you're walking down the street and you see a person of color coming towards you, do you cross the street? Do you hold your purse a little bit tighter? Do you get scared? If so, why? Why is that kind of, like, effect triggered you? Or why are you scared? Why do you possibly feel threatened? If you don't, great. If you do, why? Like, ask yourself why. Another one is, people always ask me where I'm from. I'm from the UK. I was born in the UK. And obviously, like I said, my dad is from Ghana. So I inherited his skin color. But people always assume that I'm not from the UK. And they always say, oh, where are you from? And I say, from the UK. And they say, oh no, where from originally? And they just think that I'm not from here. Those types of kind of assumptions, they need to stop as well. They evidently need to be checked upon and been like, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. Because a lot of the times we don't mean to say those things, but we have those stereotypes, biased opinions in our brain already. Where did that stem from? So that's what we need to change, evidently, because we're making, like, the people of colour feel uncomfortable for no reason, but we're not being racist to their face. I'm asking you to check your stereotypes, check your biased opinions. Like, do you have biased opinions about the people of colour? Do you look at them in any less value? And you need to be honest with yourself, like, actually honest. Don't say, oh no, I'm not racist. Be honest with yourself and say, do I do this? And I think it's more of a responsibility for white people to do this, especially because, example, if I try and have a conversation with someone who already thinks less of me because of the colour of my skin, I'm not going to change their opinion. There is just no way I'm going to be able to change his or her opinion about racism in general. So you need to be the ones to say, look, this is wrong. You need to stand up and say, this is actually the way it should be. You shouldn't be looking at someone lesser valued just because of the colour of their skin. You should be looking at their personality and who they are as people, instead of the color of their skin. And maybe, just maybe, that you will change their opinions. We won't be able to do that. We need your help to do that. And I think that's what a lot of people are getting frustrated about. And there's this massive divide for some reason, because everyone's saying Black Lives Matter and they think that it's saying only Black Lives Matter, but it's saying no. We need your help to change other people's opinions, change other people's biased and stereotypical opinions about the people of color. We're asking you for help. That's all we want. So that's why I'm coming on here, because it is important to now more than ever use your voice and to change your mindset and to change your stereotypes. And if you don't kind of know how to change your stereotypes, look back at where it stemmed from. So like, look back and see where those stereotypes, where those biased opinions came from. Was it from your family upbringing? Was it from the news? Was it from people you hang around with? What was it that stemmed those thoughts in your brain? And look back and say, okay, what's actually the evidence that makes this okay to say this? You know what I mean? And change your opinions. It's all about change. That's what we want to do, evidently. I'm going to kind of give you examples of obviously what I've never had direct racism at me before ever in my life. No one's ever called me the N-word or anything like that, but I've had a lot of stereotypical opinions thrown at me that I've just brushed off, if I'm going to be totally honest. One of them I said earlier is about obviously where are you from. To make it less uncomfortable for the person, I would always address it when they say, oh, where are you from? I say, oh, I'm born in the UK, but my dad's from here. I always have to say that before they even say, oh, where are you originally from? Because I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, yet I'm the one feeling uncomfortable. That's what society has brought us up to be like. We have to be the ones to feel uncomfortable. There's been so many times, countless amounts of times, where I felt uncomfortable because of the colour of my skin, going into a room where no one else has the same skin colour as me. I felt so uncomfortable, and like everyone's looking at me. Especially with my hair as well. I will tell you a story that I have never said anything about. When I was like 10 years old, I absolutely hated my hair. I wanted straight hair more than anything in the world. And I actually got my hair chemically straightened like a billion times and absolutely annihilated and ruined my hair. Even now, like, it used to be so long and so luscious, and I wish I could go back to that little girl and say, look, you are fucking beautiful. Like, why do you want to change yourself and look like everyone else? Because that was evidently the reason why I wanted to have straight hair, was because my hair constantly got called messy, and it didn't look nice because it wasn't straight. And I would always look at my friends and be like, I wish I had your hair. I wish I had your straight hair. And for so many years, I wanted straight hair. I'd always straighten my hair. And even now to this day, I have my hair straight for shows because I'm like, I don't want it to look messy. I don't want it to look unprofessional. And actually, I put something on my story the other day. And if you actually type in unprofessional hair types or unprofessional hair women, it comes up with pretty much my type hair. So for me, if I didn't already feel uncomfortable either going for a job interview or just my hair in general, me typing that in and looking at that and being like, okay, my hair's messy, my hair's not professional, my hair's not looked at in a good way in society. That's why our society needs to change, because it's not okay to be belittled and looked down upon because of either curly hair or the type of hair that we have or the color of our skin. This is why I'm opening your hearts to actually ask you and say, like, are you anti-racist? And if so, great, keep educating yourselves, keep learning more. This is more than, like, I keep saying it over and over again, more than anything is the time to do it now. I wish I focused on this so much more, and I've actually never felt confident to talk about my race, where I'm from, like, just racism in general, because it's a very taboo subject where people don't want to mention it because it's uncomfortable to talk about. But we need to now have these uncomfortable conversations, because more than anything, I want my kids, other people's kids, to grow up in a world where they won't feel afraid to ask these questions, to educate themselves, and to not feel like they're lesser valued just because of the colour of their skin. I will actually tell you now, and I'll even link it in the description box below right now. You go look at something called the doll test. You can type it into Google or type it into YouTube, and it's probably one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen in my life. It's a test where you have a white doll and a black doll, and there are kids of both color races of obviously black and white saying, and they're asking these kids different questions, and the main questions that literally stuck in my brain, it's even in the first, I think, like minute of this video, and I was just in tears. They say, which one's the black doll, which one's the white doll? They point it out. They say, which one is the nice doll? They point at the white doll. Which one's the bad doll? They point at the black doll. Well, they ask the question, say, why is the white one the good one? They say, oh, because she's white. And then they say, why is the black one the bad one? They say, oh, because she's black. And they say another question saying, which one's the pretty doll? The white one. Which one's the ugly doll? The black one. And the most heartbreaking thing that I think I ever seen in my life is this girl, the guy asked her this question and said, which one do you most look like? And she looked down in so much, like, she couldn't have been any more than 3 years old. And she looked down and looked back up and was like, I'm that one. And pointed to the black doll. And she looked upset to be the bad doll, the ugly doll, because that's what society is teaching our children. Like, that is so heartbreaking that even our kids are growing up in a world where they already think they're lesser valued just by dolls. Like, this needs to change. It's little things like, it's crazy, and I didn't even think of this, like, we don't even have a plaster the same color of our skin tone. How crazy is that? Especially white people, recognizing your privilege that you do have, and that will trigger people, and I know that you need to look at the privileges that you have in life in general, that white privilege is a thing. And you are very, very lucky to be born white and to have a society where you aren't scared or looked upon in lesser value because of the color of your skin. That's not me saying that you haven't had struggles and you might be looked down in other ways. I'm not saying that, but the color of your skin will never be an issue. That's the main thing I want to make clear to you, because that's something that I think not a lot of people think about. And it's something I haven't even thought about, and I look back now on my life and think, was there times where people have looked at me as lesser valued because of the colour of my skin, because of my hair type, the way I look? I remember actually in school when I remember when I was in very, very young school, and I, again, hated my nose. I hated my features more than anything. It was my hair. It was also my nose. People always used to say I had a monkey nose, which was something that has even now stuck to me till this day. I never bring it up because what's the point bringing it up? It was just some little kid, you know, calling you a name, but looking at it now, it's looking back on society and teaching our kids and educating our kids that these types of terms, these phrases, these biased opinions, these stereotypes should not be a thing anymore. They need to change, and they need to change within ourselves more than anything. So I'm going to wrap up this now because this is going to be a very long video, but I wanted to make sure that you are recognizing what is going on. It sounds very, very silly, but and I've never actually said this to anyone, well, anyone in camera, anyone that actually knows me as a person and is like my closest and dearest friends to my heart will always vouch for this, and saying that when I watch films, I can never watch black people die on the screen. I really don't like watching it, and I don't know why. I'd never really realized it or understood why I had that until now, and it's because I can feel the pain that they are lesser valued, even though it's a TV show or it's a movie. Like, it's not like that, but I know they are lesser valued in real life, and that's why it makes me so upset. And I know that sounds very silly, but that's something you kind of need to think about. So in conclusion, I want you to make sure that you realize what needs to be changed. Our mindsets that needs to change, our stereotypes and our biased opinion needs to change towards the people of color, and we need to be looked at as equal. We're no lesser value than any other person. We all bleed the same. We are all the same inside. Just because the color of our skin is different doesn't make us any different. So I want you to continue the conversations, continue having these uncomfortable conversations with people of color to educate and enlighten your brain a lot more than what you already know. So thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel because it really helps support my channel. And I will be talking about this more often because I even feel guilty not speaking about this beforehand, because I knew it was going on, but I did nothing about it. And that's what needs to change. Like, if ever you come across a time where something racist happens right in front of your eyes, would you stop it? That's what we need to ask ourselves the question, and that's what evidently needs to change. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon.